This is Doris from the Art and Nature Center at the Peabody Essex Museum, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pair of bird binoculars, or birdinoculars. Ha ha ha! So this one looks like a snowy owl, and this one is inspired by a chipping sparrow. It looks a little bit like a little sparrow. And today I'm going to make a cardinal for you with the rest of my egg carton here. So these two, you can actually see how they fit in, just like that. I added cardboard to this one so it would have more of its face visible. For the cardinal, I'm going to use this top one here because that will be more like this snowy owl. It will have more material to paint the face on, whereas this one, being a secondary cut, had less here for the forehead. So you can use your whole egg carton, or you can just use the ends of it because they make the best birdinoculars. So I'm going to start by cutting across here and then down into the middle there. I'm going to start with either side, so that makes it a little easier to move. And then I'm actually going to cut into these two egg cups. There we go. I'm going to trim up some of the extra pieces around here and make this beak part even. And the cool thing about this point here is it leaves room for your nose to fit when you put them on your face. How much you trim is up to you, and it also depends what type of a bird you're making. So if you want a rounder face for a rounder bird, you'll trim more, and if you want a squarer face, you won't have to trim so much. So cardinals are, of course, bright red if they're a male cardinal, so I have some red paint here. And I'm going to paint my whole egg carton red before I add the details. The whole exterior. The inside here will be the eyes, so I'm going to leave that. And you'll notice that the egg carton has some texture, so you might have to do a second coat to get into all those nooks and crannies on it. There is my red for my cardinal. So this and this right here at the bottom are going to be the eyes, and if you flip it over, it's even easier to see where you have to cut. So I'm going to use the pointy part of my scissors. If you don't have pointy scissors like mine, you can use something else like a pencil or whatever you have to poke the hole, and then you'll cut around that little teeny circle on the bottom of your egg carton. There's one. Ta-da! And now I can actually kind of smooth out that circle just by spinning my scissors inside of it. So the cool thing is it leaves these little elevated rings, and that is exactly where you want to paint the eye color of your bird. So for my owl, I made it yellow, and then I did a black outline outside of the ring. And for this one, I'm going to do black on the rings for the eyes. I actually have a picture of a cardinal over here on my computer, and they have a lot of black on their face. So because cardinals have both black eyes and black feathers around their face, I can paint this whole area with the black. And then to define the eyes later, I'll make a white stripe around them, like I did with my sparrow here. Has a white stripe around just the inside of the eyes to make them look shiny. And to make it look like they're feathers, I'm just going to overlap the red a little bit. And an interesting thing about cardinals is their beaks are actually a sort of orangier red than their feathers, but they still have that bright color. And oftentimes birds' beaks are just black or yellow, but a cardinal's is red. So to define the beak, I'm going to paint just a black line around where the beak would be. And just the tip of these cartons makes a really good shape for the beak. Because when you're looking straight at a bird, its beak actually looks a lot more diamond-shaped than triangle-shaped, because you're seeing the top and the bottom at the same time. And I'll continue to paint the black feathers all around. let me take a look at my picture again. It's over here. Okay, so the cardinal's black feathers do come underneath its beak a little bit, so I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to outline the eyes so they just have a little bit more of a pop. And there we go. That's looking like a cardinal to me. I have a very fine brush right here. I'm going to get some of that white paint and just carefully outline the eyes. You could also do this if you have a white gel pen or some chalk or something like that after it's dry, just to get a thinner line if you don't have a really thin brush. There we go. And now, because this is a cardinal and they have a little pointy cap, I'm going to use a bit of the cardboard here to cut a triangle that I'll paint red and attach right here. Let's see. I think that will be just right. So I don't have to paint that edge because that's where the glue will be when I attach it to there, but I'm going to paint the top. So depending on what type of bird you're making, you can add all sorts of different details with paper or cardboard like this, and just glue, tape, or staple them on to your bird. I'm going to do a little bit over the edges, because sometimes you can see that part from the front. And now I can put a little bit of glue right onto here and attach my cardinal's cap to my egg carton right here. So I'll fill that in. And here we have a cardinal, a snowy owl, and a chipping sparrow. You're most likely to see chipping sparrows and cardinals in your backyard. I have never seen a snowy owl in person, but it's a pretty mask, so I made it that way. Enjoy your bird binoculars and use them to take a look at the birds outside during this busy spring season. Thanks for watching, and please share your creations with us using the hashtags pempod and Peabody Essex. See you next time!